You go on Google and you type in Phúc Mập. One of the first search results that comes up is Phúc Mập wife, and it's been that way for 4 years now. A lot of you ask, is your wife Vietnamese? Yes, of course. That's why I decided to learn Vietnamese and stay in Vietnam. 2, why is your wife never in your videos? Gak bang, oi, Phúc Mập day, and guess what? We did it, everyone. In 4.5 years, 500,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Thanks to all of you for the support. Cảm ơn đã ủng hộ. And today, I'm here to answer all of your most asked questions. This is a celebration video and it's brought to you by Insta360. They provided me with the camera that I'm filming on, which is the Insta360 X3, but more on that later. I figured while answering these questions, instead of just sitting here and talking, we might as well play one of my favorite sports, which is disc golf. I'm over here at Panther Creek Park visiting my wife's family in Owensboro, Kentucky, and I'm happy to bring you this beautiful game of disc golf and the answers to your most asked questions. Without further ado, let's get the video started. First question, when did you first get interested in Vietnam and Vietnamese culture? To be honest with you, in 2013, I graduated college. I didn't want to do anything with my major. Was just working in a bar, having fun. And then the idea came up of teaching abroad. So I looked at places like Spain, Italy, Japan, Korea, but Southeast Asia seemed to be the best option for me. I only intended on doing 1 year in Vietnam, but after being there for a year, well, I became very interested in the culture, and after about 1.5 years, I fell in love with a local girl, and that pushed me to learn Vietnamese. For those who are not familiar with this sport, disc golf is very similar to golf. You have your drivers, your mid-range, your putters. The goal is to get the disc close to the basket and then in the basket in as little of turns as possible. Okay. Next question, and probably one of the most common questions around, how did you learn Vietnamese? Even though my wife speaks English, most of her family does not. And I remember meeting her mom after like the 3rd date, which is common in Vietnamese culture. And her mom didn't speak English, and I said, oh man, this could be a very awkward relationship. So I went and got a tutor who is a very good tutor. I still study with her to this day. Yeah, it was on and off at some points, but yeah, almost 6 years straight. And basically, my method is flashcards, spaced repetition, and of course, practice out in the community. You could see when I started my YouTube channel, it was kind of like a practice. I wanted to see how far I could go with conversations with people that I'd never met, starting with, you know, what's your name? What do you do for work? Where are you from? And going as deep as I could within 20, 30 minutes time. I worked with Grab drivers, worked at the market, and from there I just kept improving and eventually had a viral video and got on Vietnamese television. Honestly, this is my first time playing disc golf at this park, but from what I saw online, some of it's out here in the open grass and other holes are in the woods. So this should be interesting because I can't even see the basket. That tree jumped in the way of my shot, but next question. I get this one a lot. What are your favorite places in Vietnam? In the last 8 years, I've traveled all over Vietnam. I mean, there are only a few places that I haven't been to. Some places like Đà Lạt, I've been there 6 times. Da Nang, I've been there 4 times. Hanoi, maybe 5 or 6 times. So I've been around quite a bit. But in my travels, the 2 best places in Vietnam, Hà Giang, because it's not flooded with tourists, you go by yourself. The view is magnificent. I mean, you can go back and watch the video I did on it. I was just in awe. I felt like I was in a movie. And then Phom Nha, I've been there 2 times, one for a TV show and one with my little brother. There's like 300 caves in the area, the 1st and the 4th largest caves in the world. You can hike in the mountain, you can swim into caves, you can rock climb in caves, zip line. I mean, those 2 places, if you go anywhere in Vietnam, highly recommend those. Close runner-up though, Ha Long Bay or Lan Ha Bay. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, but both of those, take a cruise for a night or 2. Magnificent, some of the best views you'll ever see in your life. Oh, this next one is a good one. Worst experience in Vietnam. I haven't had many, and a lot of people have stories of getting their bags snatched in Saigon, but no, mine was actually in Hanoi at Van Mieu, the Temple of Literature. And it was a crazy trip You know, got to meet Bathan Vlog, got to go to Hai Yang for the first time. It was a great trip overall. And then one of the last days I'm in Vietnamese, I'm filming. I got this sling backpack on. I felt something on it, but my wife was right behind me, but it was very crowded. Somebody had snatched my wallet out, and I know it happened there because 5 minutes later, I went to pull my wallet out and give somebody a business card, and it was gone, but I used it to get into the temple. So luckily, a YouTube buddy of mine, Daniel Jackson, came to the rescue, lent me some money, helped me survive for the last couple days until I got back and got a new card. But aside from that, maybe some food poisoning incidents, but nothing too crazy. There's a good chance of losing a disc on this one, 198 feet, straight through the woods. Before I take this shot, I might as well answer one of the more important questions on the channel is, why did you start in the first place? Well, in 2018, I got married, and as the anniversary for the proposal in 2017, if that makes sense, my wife and I took a trip to Korea because she really wanted to go to Korea. We visited my friend Eric there, and both of them, we were watching some travel vlogs, and they're like, hey, why don't you start a YouTube channel about Vietnam? You speak the language, you lived there for a long time, you married a Vietnamese girl, you know a lot about the culture. And at the time, there really weren't many people making YouTube videos in Vietnam about Vietnam. Yes, there are travel vloggers, and yes, there were two main foreigners that made YouTube content. One got canceled, the other one I've been collabing with since I kind of blew up a little bit. But I made this to fill a niche, and I didn't know which route I was gonna go at first. I knew I wanted to test my Vietnamese, and I knew I wanted to explore the different aspects of the culture. Had no idea it would blow up to what it is today. 500,000 subscribers in just over 4 years, and TV shows, movie, everything else. So this is an overstable disc, which means it curves to the left. Looks like it's over to the left, so let's throw it and see what happens. Before we go any further with the questions and answers, I have to talk about today's sponsor, Insta360. This camera, the Insta360 X3, is one of the more advanced 360 cameras that they offer. If you've been with the channel for a while, you know I collaborated with them with the Insta360 1R 2 years ago. Well, this is the more compact and more advanced version. So I want to give a big shout out to them and let you guys know a little bit about this camera. 5.3K, which means you can film in 360 degrees, and then in editing, you can crop in and choose the scenes you like. The next feature I'm in love with this camera is the invisible selfie stick. Because of the 360 degree capability, you can hold the stick out and it looks like a drone is following you around. No need for a permit, no need for a noisy drone. You just hold this over your head and nobody is the wiser. The Insta360 X3 also features the Me mode. So with the Me mode, you just hold the camera out in front of you and the Insta360 X3 does the rest. I don't like to think about framing up my shot. Just hold it out here. Deletes the selfie stick from view for the most part, and we can get the shot we want. They now offer 8K time lapse as well as 72 megapixel photos. One of my favorite features with this X3 is the bullet time. By spinning this camera around your head, you can get a slow motion, 360 degree view of yourself and whatever activity you are doing. Once again, thank you to Insta360 for sponsoring the video. Let's get back to the questions and answers. Straight into truth. Next question, what's your favorite food in Vietnam? I've answered this plenty of times, but I will answer it again here. Bún bò Huế. I just love that noodle soup. I love the variety of flavors in there. Yes, I love phở. Yes, I love bánh mì. But if I had to choose a favorite dish, bún bò Huế all day. Now, what dish do you not like? Now, in the beginning, of course, durian. Most foreigners will agree they don't like durian. Sầu riêng. Nhưng mà one of my first English students gifted me sầu riêng and ate it with me. And I'd just gotten in the country like a week, maybe 2 weeks, and I had no idea. I thought the food was rotten. I was like, man, he got this fruit, it's old, but I don't want to be rude and insult him, so I just eat it with him. It smells bad, tastes bad. But after 8 years, I can eat durian. It's not that bad. The smell is still pretty strong. But one food I cannot stand, and that is mam tom. I've tried it in Bun Rio. I've drank it out of a bowl, tried it with bún đậu mam tom, and that just, no, I don't think I'll ever make my way around to liking it. But, you know, everybody's got a different taste. I eat mice, I eat coconut worms. Most people won't eat those. You know, I love courses with obstacles, but obstacles are not my friend today. Good question here. If Vietnamese is your favorite Asian food, what is number 2? And that one is easy. Japanese food. I first went to Japan in 2015 on my way back to America. Did a 2-week trip with my buddy Eric. We went to Tokyo, we went to Kyoto, Osaka, Nara. It was a really good trip, and even the cheapest of Japanese food was amazing. I really enjoy udon, beef gyudon, sushi. Now, I probably don't know how to pronounce those correctly, but it doesn't matter. They're delicious. So besides Vietnamese food, I could eat Japanese food every day. Speaking of Japanese food, how many countries have you been to and what is your favorite? At this point, I'm not sure on the numbers, so I gotta count them out. I've been to Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand 3 times, Malaysia 3 times, Indonesia, Taiwan, Japan, Korea, Singapore, Laos, and I think that's about it. Oh yeah, Qatar. Yeah, a few countries. My favorite had to be Japan. Not just the food, but I love how everything is there. It's so developed, yet it's so different from what we're used to. My wife wants to go and I want to go back, so that could be a trip here in the future. You go on Google and you type in Phúc Mập. One of the first search results that comes up is Phúc Mập wife, and it's been that way for 4 years now. A lot of you ask, is your wife Vietnamese? Yes, of course. That's why I decided to learn Vietnamese and stay in Vietnam. 2, why is your wife never in your videos? Well, as I mentioned before, my wife, my best friend, encouraged me to do the YouTube. She really wanted me to do it, but we decided in the beginning, if she wasn't going to be a part of the channel, then there's no point in even putting her in there. So we made the decision in the beginning. She didn't want to be famous. I don't need her to boost the channel up, except in the background helping me out. So she never showed up. I went on social media, deleted all pictures of her. If you were following me before that, then you've definitely seen my wife. And if her face ever gets out there, it's not a big deal. It's just, I don't use her as a prop in my videos. And she's not the kind of girl that likes to somehow, like a lot of people do. I mean, I'm saying that and I'm somehow right now, but she used to do the subtitles for me. I mean, she'd come to all my TV shows and be off the stage, obviously. But it's just not her desire to be famous, and I respect that. And we've kept this agreement ever since, and it's become like the biggest mystery to where I always get comments asking about her. But I don't need to use her as a prop, and she has no desire to become known by everyone. So that's the answer. How do you see yourself compared to other foreign YouTubers in Vietnam? In the beginning, I reached out to basically everybody. I reached out to Dustin and Nam. Chris actually reached out to me to be my editor before he blew up and passed me. Max was looking for people to join in on his show. So I connected with most of the foreign YouTubers that have been there for the last 4 years, and we're all still good friends to this day. And one good thing about it is that everybody has their own special quality. For example, Max, the foodie, Chris, the polyglot, Dustin, the outdoors guy, Nam brings in the African taste and likes to interview everybody. So myself, I've just been the funny guy that speaks Vietnamese. You know, I don't have the most perfect Vietnamese. I don't review food the most eloquently. Yeah, that's how I say it. But we all have our own special đặc trưng that we bring to the table, and I think it's helped all of us grow. The important thing is to remember to not compare yourself to other people. You are running your own race against yourself. If I try to compare myself to everyone in Vietnam and who has more subscribers, who has more views, Well, even if I did get to the top, then you could look at Asia and other vloggers that live in other countries. And then you could look at Mr. Beast. There's always levels to it, and you just have to keep competing against yourself and making yourself better. That's an important lesson I've learned. There we go. Good question here. What would you say is the weak point of your channel? The problem with my channel is that I've had so many viral peaks and a lot of valleys in between. You look at my stats, and I can tell you each time and what I went viral for. Now, if it was just the chicken in the beginning and I never had a viral hit again, I might rethink of what I'm doing. But no, it's gone up and down, up and down. Whereas some of my YouTube buddies, they're very consistent. They don't have as many viral hits or the peaks that I do, but at the same time, they get more on average. So I guess that would just be a shout out to the true fans that watch all the videos. And I don't get down on myself just because through all my platforms, at this point now, I get over 30,000 views per day, every day. And even though that's not in the millions and it can always be improved, you really have to step back and be thankful for what you have. That 30,000 people take the time to watch something that I create. I mean, it makes me feel a lot better about what I do, and it gives me a lot more motivation to keep doing what I'm doing. Where do you see your channel in the future, and what are your final goals? You know, with this question, I think back to one of my old students, Sang, turned into my buddy. You've probably seen him in a few of my videos. But he asked what I want to do with all this, and it made me think. And I said by the end of it, I want every Vietnamese person in Vietnam and throughout the world. And when someone asks them, is there a foreigner that speaks your language or knows a lot about your culture, that they immediately respond with, oh, Phúc Mập, that guy with the red beard. You know, I've come close to that, to where now on Instagram, I believe I'm the largest Vietnamese teacher. Do I speak fluent Vietnamese? No, but who cares? More people follow me to learn Vietnamese than anyone else. So I'm doing something right. So yeah, my final goal obviously is 1 million subscribers. And then once I hit that, then I'll set the 10 million mark and whatever else. But I stopped putting a time limit on it. I just focus on producing quality content, getting it out there, and glad to see people responding positively to it. You know, hopefully by what I do, people will learn more about Vietnam, want to visit more, have more of a drive to learn Vietnamese, and some people even connect closer to their wives, husbands, and their in-laws. So I hope what I'm doing has a positive impact on all of you. Hope you enjoyed the game. Hope you enjoyed the question and answer session. I was a little over par, just a little, but you know, practice makes perfect. I want to gửi một lời cảm ơn đến tất cả mọi người mà xem kênh của Phúc. Cảm ơn mọi người đã ủng hộ cho 4 năm qua. The last 4 years have been quite a journey, but I'm very excited to keep going with it and see where I can end up. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you, Insta360. Hope you all check out the X3, link down in the description. And of course, yeah, follow for more. Hẹn gặp lại and chúc mừng năm mới.